Hey everybody, my name is Greg Rossi. I am the VP of Customer Solutions here at Zuar, which is a software company at heart, but we are specializing in data analytics, business intelligence, and all of that fun data related stuff. I'm here today to talk about the importance of a well-developed and well-supported data connector. Now, this means a lot to many different people. In the context of what I'm talking about today, a data connector is a piece of software that connects to some type of source system, whether that's an ERP, a CRM, even like an SFTP, that can then extract data out of that source system to make it usable. So that's what it is. So let's talk about why these things are important. So in the context of the data world, I like to simplify kind of my description of how to maximize the value of the data that you currently have. And I like to refer to what is known as the data value chain. So the data value chain is kind of a simplified approach where you are essentially doing that, trying to maximize the value of the data that you have. A lot of companies, a lot of businesses all over the place have a lot of untapped data, valuable data underneath their feet that they don't utilize yet. And the data value chain is kind of the concept of how do I get the most data, the most value out of that data that I possibly can. So if you look at the beginning of the data value chain, there is, of course, the source system. So this is, again, this is the CRM, this is the ERP, this is the storage system. This is where the data is being captured and stored. Now, the very next step after that is the connector. So in a lot of ways, the connector kind of is the first stage of the data value chain, if you kind of ignore the fact that the source data. So it is really important as it relates to that. Now, I think one of the challenges here is, like I had mentioned, a lot of companies have a lot of data, but they're not using it. Whether the reason is because it hasn't become a priority yet, they haven't matured down that journey of we need to do advanced analytics because this stuff is just not. We don't fully understand it, or we can't fully grasp it yet. So there's maybe a lack of expertise in there. And then, of course, one of the central things is that the data is inaccessible. And that's exactly when you would need a data connector. Now, like I'd mentioned, one of the other reasons it is really important is because we're trying to, once you get to a certain level of maturity with your business, you inevitably run into limitations with analytics. And I will say a lot of these source systems, these CRMs, these ERPs, generally speaking, they will have some level of analytics built into them, right? They'll have some version inside of the platform that allows you to do maybe a surface level analysis of some of the data that you have access to. And sometimes this is okay, depending, like I said, on your maturity as a company. Maybe that's enough for you. As you continue to grow, a lot of these kind of basic analytical aspects of these platforms becomes not enough. And when they become not enough, the next step is, okay, how do we get the data? How do we do advanced analytics? And that is when we start getting into the realm of, okay, now we maybe need something to pull the data out of these systems so that we can do whatever we want with it. We can store it somewhere, we can merge it with other sources. There's a variety of things you can do at that point, right? Maybe we need to do some custom calculations, some advanced analytics, all of this fun stuff. So again, you arrive at a situation, we need to extract this data out. So back to, this is the importance of a well-developed, well-supported data connector. Now, when you go to do these advanced analytics, one of the benefits of pulling the data out, like I was saying, is it allows you to create a single source of truth, which along your journey of maturing as a company using data, this becomes very important. Be able to rely on the sourcing and the one piece of information that everybody can use to drive decisions, to drive insights, to drive the analytics, right? So developing a single source of truth becomes really important. One of the other things I mentioned briefly was merging disparate systems and sources. So this would be kind of the concept of almost creating like a 360 view of your analytics, right? As you progress down this journey of analyzing data, you're going to have data in your sales platform. Maybe you'll have data in your marketing system. Maybe you'll have data in your finance system, your customer success system, all these sources. And inevitably, you're going to arrive in a scenario once you get big enough where your executives, your business leaders, they don't want to have to go to each of these single sources to view the analytics or the data behind them. And because it is inefficient. There are a lot of reasons why you should not do that and why it's probably annoying to people, which I'm sure you can imagine. So you end up in a scenario where, okay, we have all of these sources. How do I take the data out of them and create a unified source or unified destination where we can get a 360 look at all of our platforms and analyze all the data together? So this becomes really important. So let me give you a couple examples of how this could be used. So say you have your sales pipeline and you have your marketing efforts. As you know, those kind of go together hand in hand. Well, maybe we have a marketing platform and we have a sales platform. Well, I want to take the data from my marketing touch points and I want to merge it with my sales pipeline so I can see exactly what types of efforts we're doing on the marketing side that lead to greater retention rates in the sales pipeline, that lead to less drop-offs, all of that fun stuff, right? So in this example, you would need to extract data from your marketing tool, you need to extract data from your sales tool and merge them together to create a 360 view of the customer pre-sales journey, if you will, right? Another example that I see come up quite often is the example of, especially if you're a product company that is responding to customer requests or ticketing and all of that fun stuff, being able to take your ticket data, merge that with your sales data, and maybe get some data about your customers and be able to do an entire analysis of your customer health, right? So this is like a 360 view of success in a lot of ways. And really the only way to do that would be to take the data from your ticketing system, take it from your sales platform, from your customer management platform, and being able to bring those all together. So again, you're going to need a connector to pull that data out and merge it together in an automated and robust way, right? All this to say, a lot of organizations will ultimately arrive at a decision point as they grow and as they need to acquire and extract data. And that decision point inevitably comes to, do we build or do we buy this platform that can connect and extract, this connector, if you will? And I'm going to say there's no right or wrong answer to that question. You do what makes the most sense for your business, of course. Sometimes it does make sense. Maybe you have the resources in-house where you can build this kind of stuff. Now, if you don't have the resources in-house to develop and support, I'm going to place emphasis on support because I think that gets forgotten a lot of the time. It may be easy to develop the initial connection to a platform, but then over time you need to support that. So there's a lot of technical debt that develops from that. Your business is going to grow, so the requirements change, and then also the source systems change, the APIs change, everything grows together, and therefore you need to constantly maintain and support this connector. So it really can end you up in a situation where you're now dedicating too many resources to having to support this one little tool that you thought was going to be this small like resource aspect. So again, emphasis on support, but if you don't have the resources in-house to develop and support this platform, come partner with Zuar. We have a number of supported data connectors that are premium data connectors. We've been in the data and analytics game for a very long time. We know the pitfalls. We've experienced them all. We've gone through every possible scenario that you can think of. And we would love to help take your business to the next level. So don't hesitate to reach out.